Hi, welcome to VYAPT Growth Series Season 2, Episode 43. This platform has been specially curated to bring unedited thought process around growth, sustainability, innovation, opportunities. A platform where you get to learn and know strategies from leaders who matter. A comprehensive show which showcases purpose of organization and shows you the bigger picture. In our growth series today, we have with us Mr. Sudarshan Suchi, the CEO of Save the Children India. So, Save the Children is India's leading independent child rights NGO and has made a considerable difference in the lives of over 14 million Indian children since 2008. Globally, they have a presence in over 80 countries. Sudarshan Suchi is a kind, passionate, and hopeful leader with local and global exposure across development sector and has a great vision for the organization he's leading. We'll hear more from him and feed our curiosity. Welcome to VYAPT Growth Series, Mr. Sudarshan. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you. Happy to be here.
We'll start our with our curiosities, and I'll start with my first curiosity here. As you've been doing some phenomenal, work uh, around children for the last couple of decades now. So, what are the most successful programs of Save the Children, and how is it making a difference in the lives of the children?
Pankaj, that list will probably take so many days to cover about what this organization has been in its modest capacities trying to do. But let me list couple of big ones. Let's say during COVID times, when children couldn't go to school, we came up with an idea that let's take school to children, and especially the young children for whom the starting the right start made all the difference and context. So that started with a program called Gulmohar, which primarily said that let's build capacities of community leaders, volunteers, parents, and others to make sure there is continuity and comfort in the children for the learning continuity. And that became one of the programs mixed with direct training material, audio, visual, whatever. So it was an innovation and a breakthrough. It stands out top on my head. Second, which comes to my mind is whole work around children in street situation, developing, doing a study, a survey, developing an SOP, and actually consequently resulting in some at least some roughly around 200,000 children at least getting aligned to the services of government, their identity and their location and facilities, etc. And beyond that, it was more than the number of children whom we could directly benefit. It was bringing a method into doing things, and bringing that method is something that we try to do for everything we do and make it available for anybody who wishes. I'm very proud to say that the Supreme Court, Government of India, many state government, they took up this method to try and take it up to scale in a larger context. So this, is the second one which is comes top on my mind. And like I said, the list goes on. But third and fourth, one is a helpline called Umeed, which got launched again in pandemic, and which was primarily for children to reach out, sharing their burdens, needs, goals, and mental health and whatever the distress. And this was done with again collaboration with the state governments, prominently Rajasthan. And yeah, these are a few of the initiatives in and around for and about children that have happened. Yeah,
So
Pankaj.
wonderful to hear from you. Uh, Now, my second curiosity is around the similar kind of growth aspect, which is coming up. You talked around some of the successful programs which has really made a difference in the lives of children. So as we see the growth of Indian economy, and what it is said is the next 2 to 3 decades belongs to India. The work done by NGOs, like Save the Children, becomes even more prominent because the growth rate is higher. We want to bring more people into the mainstream, and that's the role of NGOs become very, very prominent. How do you see contributing to the Indian growth story?
सबसे पहले तो पंकज, I would say we were born Bal Raksha Bharat. That's
Okay.
our name, and we are affiliated to a global movement called Save the Children,
Okay.
and that's the context. And I think we in NGOs make a very small, modest, and yet significant contribution. Our primary work is to make sure that we try to be there where everybody else hesitates to go, in difficult spaces, difficult situations, difficult contexts. But we also realize that our capacity is to help evolve a proof of concept or a method, and that method is then templated or offered to government and others as a theory of change to influence policies to make change at scale and other contexts. uh, I mean, one of the recent things which I'm remembering is one of our work on cyber safety for
Mhm.
children. So on one side, there is very active initiative to enhance access of children to technology and education through technology. But unlike the physical walls and all, there are no boundaries here, and there is limitless proliferation of a lot of damaging content also. So that's we've done. But coming back to your original question, all the NGOs put together, if you look at the volume of contribution, it's almost equivalent to 3% of GDP.
Mhm.
But let's not focus on the numbers. Let's say that NGO is civil society organizations are that another vital link or fabric of the society which completes the canvas and picture.
True.
It's not the only one. It's not that it is the primary one. It's also not that it is not there at all. It's very much there. It's as a contact, and it does that last mile connecting, finishing, and it tries. So there are there are spaces defined for each kind of organization with a larger purpose. So you have governments with responsibility of the largest good of the largest number. You have corporates in the nation building who take pioneering efforts around creating wealth, building the economy, and other things. I would say the NGO's primary responsibility, the CSO, is inclusiveness. कि growth story में कोई पीछे ना रह जाए. So our job is that the growth is complete when everybody grows, and that's where lies in the CSO's contribution. And Bal Raksha Bharat is one such CSO. And given that 50% of the population in India is youth, and therefore, if India wishes to be a developed country in 1947, it's this youth who'll all have to be developed.
True.
उनमें से those who are in the margins, we are dedicated to those. And we are not the only one. There are many others. We all try in our modest ways to contribute to the nation building, to just being a catalyst. That's it. I mean, ours is a very modest, proportionate role.
So you were modest in saying that you are just a catalyst, but now you're doing the prominent work in terms of making sure that you are helping the children to be a part of the mainstream in coming future. Now, with that in mind, would like to probably talk on more on amount of technology which you're using in your day-to-day work, and ensuring that probably your work reaches to many people who are in need of it. So with the change in technology, what innovative methods are you using to make your progress more effective and serve better, and how is it generating employment opportunities?
Pankaj, I'll be very candid here. For us, it was difficult to just blindly jump into the bandwagon of technology.
Hmm.
एक तो टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए पैसे लगते हैं, यू नीड इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, यू नीड
True.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एंड यू नीड
True.
एबिलिटी. But much larger has been our fear that absence of knowledge and comfort of technology could become the new inequality for the marginalized. So
Okay.
our contribution by and large is to get the marginalized communities, particularly the youth, the girls, the youngsters, familiar with technology. I would say that's our first step. And in terms of getting them to be familiar with the learning aids which enable them the knowledge access, like the STEM labs creation context. I could give you a very easy answer that as an organization, we are driven by mobile, there are apps, there are other functions, all that. Yes, but that's like what everybody does, what we also do. Usme
Mm-hmm.
technology hai, but I don't think that's the that's the bigger piece. The bigger piece is getting children future ready by looking at
True.
all avenues of familiarizing them and interfacing them with technology, and then actually enabling them both economically and otherwise to get access to technology. So
Mm-hmm.
familiarity, access, safety, and building capability to be on top. So when one assumes that a child at home is automatically learning if the home has a smartphone and the learning continues, I think that's not what we are talking about as technology. We would ensure that do the children have access to the smartphone when it is needed? Is there a bandwidth? Do the parents know how to moderate it and interface and secure? Is there enough, and is the content that is coming there, is it comprehensible and digestible by them in the form in which they are capable of accepting? So our role is being that bridge in the technology, and I think that's as crucial a role as making available either the hardware or the software of technology.
That's very
And
true.
yeah,
That's very true. The role of
yeah,
NGO is not limited to only understand it, but also to ensure that the children are future ready to be a part of the mainstream.
yes.
That's I'm sure Mr.
If I can narrate one small
Please,
story to you
please go
around
ahead.
this, मैं ना sometime back, one of our projects with HDFC Bank, which has
Mm-hmm.
been very helpful, and this thing in helping create STEM labs in rural schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to visit one such school, a rural school in Tonk, one of the most within Tonk, one of the most backward areas, with our chairman. Both of us went and joined a classroom full of girls. And
Mm-hmm.
this classroom, it was supposed to be a statutory visit to see the STEM lab, see the infrastructure and the initiative. What
Mm-hmm.
we saw was these girls had impromptu arranged a format similar to Kaun Banega Crorepati quiz competition, and made us sit in that quiz and asked us some science questions. And well, the chairman and CEO of Save the Children, Bal Raksha Bharat, got 4 of the 10 questions wrong. And these girls, they started explaining to us not just the right answer, but they helped us go through the experimentation which established. उन्होंने बोला कि खाली सही जवाब नहीं चाहिए, जवाब का प्रूफ चाहिए और प्रूफ के साथ समझ चाहिए. I was thinking that in a remote village in Tonk, now these girls are on top of science and have a certain confidence on technology. They know how to access. And those girls and their teachers have also launched a YouTube channel in the process. Somebody who didn't know technology was onto YouTube generating all this kind of material. So,
Mm-hmm.
in the long run, I would say we have, in a small way, and the children in a big way, have gone about democratizing technology. So our
True.
role has been access and democratizing more than the hardware. Thank you. Sorry to digress a little bit.
That this
Yeah.
was just a phenomenal story which you just talked about. Really glad to know this kind of development happening. After this, we are moving on to our rapid fire round. 10 questions to be answered in one word, maximum of a sentence. Are you ready, Mr. Sudarshan?
I don't know. We'll have to find out in this one.
So here
Yeah.
we go. 10 questions coming to you now. So the first one for you: what has been your favorite age so far?
My favorite age has been 5.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what is your go-to lazy dinner? Go-to
Go
lazy dinner.
to go to lazy dinner for me is plenty of fruits of all kinds.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Keep having a shower as often as possible. Cold water shower.
If you were to write a book, what it would be about?
My book will be about all the mistakes I made and what I learned from them. It
Okay.
would require 1,000 pages. Yeah.
Would you ever try a stand-up comedy?
Yes, I would love to experiment that.
What is happiness to you?
Happiness is being around people, spreading love and affection, and getting it back in return.
Oh, wonderful. So, what non-existent job do you wish would have existed?
Just a job which pays for listening to people infinitely.
Okay. What object do you misplace or you sometimes lose it the most?
My pen.
Okay. What quote resonates with you?
So there's this quote of a famous philosopher, Descartes, who says, "Cogito ergo sum." I think, therefore I am. For me, it is I do, therefore I am. I've modified it for myself.
Okay. Okay. So you're more of a karma yogi.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll ask the tenth question now. 9 on 9 to you till now. What trait most defines you as a person?
A willing smile at every situation, whatever be,
How good or bad it is?
whatever, whatever it is. I see the better side of things always.
Definitely, it requires a lot of courage, I suppose.
Yeah.
So 10 on 10 to you in this rapid fire round question. And you've done a fantastic job, Mr. Sudarshan. I move on to our fourth curiosity now. And this fourth curiosity is about you as a leader. What obstacle that stand between you and your growth mission, and how do you plan to overcome them? You may also answer what are some of the memorable lessons which you have learned from your mentors, colleagues, teachers, or your friends, or people in the industry, and how it has shaped your leadership style.
So my biggest mentors and teachers have been my children and children in general.
Okay.
I see them with a certain purity and innocence, doing, asking, believing, not hesitating, forgetting, forgiving, moving on, etc. And those were things which I learned from, like, in the process of bringing up my children. And beyond that, actually, my motto in life is learning to listen and listen to learn. So I look at every opportunity, including this one, to try to figure out what could I be learning here and how. I'm already trying to copy you. How can I be doing this kind of stuff, and what could I be doing similarly to reach out to people? And my life's journey. I'm 57 now, and I think it's been 57 constant years of learning and improvement. In the process, I learned animal husbandry, dairying, farming, forestry, plantation, water harvesting, water security, child rights, protection, anything. I mean, I learned cooking, I learned walking, cycling, running. So I look at every opportunity to evolve as a human being and constantly reinvent myself. And could you just repeat that earlier question again, the first part of it?
Okay. The first part was, what are the main obstacles that stand
Yeah,
between you and the growth mission, and
yeah,
how do you
yeah.
plan to overcome that?
Yeah, I think the only obstacle that I have is my own, spikes in my own energy and context. Rest of the obstacles, like I said, I am an eternal optimist. So I fall, I stand up. And incidentally, that too I learned from my son, a child.
Hmm.
While cycling till he was assisted by me, he didn't want to fall. One day I saw him when I left him alone. He fell, he got up and cycled again, although he was hurt. and that became my life's lesson. गिरो, गिरना का सोचना नहीं है, गिरो तो उठो, कपड़े झाड़ो और फिर से आगे चल पड़ो. So that has been my, so that's what I would consider as, the obstacle if they happen, and then face and then grow up and then carry on building further. And I never expect a perfect world or a perfect situation, either one which I get or one which I can create or one which will be there for future. It will always be dynamic and this thing, and how we place ourselves within that world in a small modest way and continue to make it a happier peaceful place. So that's the journey that I look for.
That's really really great to hear from you that you are an eternal optimist, and the story you just shared, will keep us inspiring to do things, and to actually achieve things. Until then, keep on trying, doing the same thing. Thank you so much, Mr. Sudarshan, for being with us on VYAPT Growth Series. It was really very inspirational having you on our platform, and it's really nice to see the kind of work Save the Children is doing for the mankind. We are really very grateful to you and the organization for serving India and many many countries which you are doing. Thank you so much for being a part of VYAPT Growth Series.
Not at all. For us, we are grateful every time Bal Raksha Bharat, or I, or through me, Bal Raksha Bharat gets an opportunity to engage with people and engage with others, to share, learn, and do things together. So it's more. I am thankful for this opportunity.
Th- Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thanks. Namaste. Thanks.